the anger, the lack of empathy, the lack of care, the lack of compassion, the lack of social understanding are all things that we have to look at in the next 8 weeks, because all of this combined is what leads to kids saying, you know what, I've had enough. I don't care anymore. Now, what's really scary to me is these kids know the outcome. They're going to either be shot, life in prison, or they're going to kill themselves. It just boggles my mind to think that these kids don't care about their own life, let alone others, at such a young age. Think about when you were 14 or 15 years old. What was on your mind? Probably what movie was playing on Friday night, or was there a home football game, or whose house you're going to hang out at. It wasn't, I'm going to go blow somebody up. I'm going to go figure out a way to, hurt as many people as possible. The problem with society today also is the internet. Apparently, this young guy was in Georgia, was on a site called Discord. I've never heard of that. I also heard that there's a game called Roadblocks that is terrible to know. There's also WhatsApp. I talk about these in the book too. I talk about all the different apps that kids are on. And I talk about them mainly because the people that are on those apps as well are probably my age, or could be. I'm 57, so maybe a little bit younger, but they're not teenagers, and they certainly don't have any good intentions for young people. So, in addition to the school shooter mentality, you have just kids that are angry in general or finding themselves in trouble. They're embarrassed if something happens. They're angry when things don't go their way. So, looking at the early developmental brain uh, studies and science, which we're going to do, I'm going to bring in, so I'm going to make all this happen so I can make this work with the, make all this happen. I'm so mad over this whole thing right now. But I do have guests coming in. So I've got a therapist coming in. I'm talking to a psychologist. My goal is to actually find one of these school shooters. I got to find what prison they're in, all of them, talk with the Department of Corrections and probably their legal team, and see if we can actually get them on. And I'm hoping that in week 8 to have someone of that. Uh, I'm hoping to have one of those kids on so we can listen to what they're thinking, what they were going through. They may not speak at all. They might get on here and just go, and they're done. They might have a lawyer in the room saying, don't say this, don't say that, because it can incriminate if there's more cases going on or appeals going on. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm going to try. Because to understand the psychology of a school shooter, you have to actually talk to one. And when I mentioned this to people the other day, they were like, "Oh my gosh, you want to talk to one?" Well, we talked to Jeffrey Dahmer, we talked to Ted Bundy, we talked to the Iceman, we talked to the BTK killer, we've talked to all these horrible serial killers. It only makes sense that we speak to a school shooter and ask the questions: what was going on with you? How did you not get help? Did you ask for help? Did you want it but didn't get what you needed? How many times were you pushed to the system? How many times did you warn people?